Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, the resort is not very crowded at the opening of Galaxy's Edge. Silly Symphony Swings is back.
Pixar Pals parking is getting close to opening. We talk about all things Galaxy's Edge and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Welcome to DL Weekly, a podcast about Walt's original Magic Kingdom, Disneyland. We cover the latest news and information from the resort, test our skills at trivia, and have a discussion about the parks every week. We invite you to send in your feedback and stories. Our contact information can be found at dlweekly.net. Now sit back, keep your hands and arms inside the podcast, and enjoy this week's show.
And welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of June 5th, 2019. I'm Teg Bushman.
And I'm Teresa Urban. We would like to send a shout out and a big thank you to all of our patrons, including Michael V. and Molly R. for joining us at the Park Hopper level, and also to Michael C. for joining the general admission level. This support helps make DL Weekly possible. Our patrons get some pretty nice perks like access to our Discord chat, live shows like tonight's, and some DL Weekly swag plus more. If you would like to learn more, head on over to dlweekly.net/support.
Have you booked your trip to the resort yet? If not, you should. Contact James and Mike over at ConciEARS, and they'll take care of your entire vacation from beginning to end. And as an added bonus, you'll get a free year of touring plans. Why wait? Check them out at ConciEARS.com.
Well, it's that time of the month again where we get to draw a name out of our patron bucket. I don't know what you want to call this, because we used to draw them out of the ears, but we've upgraded. So anyways, we get to pick one of our patrons and invite them to be a guest on the show. So let's see who it's going to be this week, month, year. Congratulations to Russell M. You are our next potential guest on the show. Again, Woo. Russell, just want to remind you, you do not have to if you don't want to, but we would love to chat Disney with you.
Well, now let's get to the news. Well, in a bit of shocking news, there was little to no crowds at the resort this weekend. With the highly anticipated opening of Galaxy's Edge, the park was prepared to take on the masses. It seems like those who did not have a reservation to explore the new land decided to stay home and away from the crowds. However, everyone must have had the same thought. Popular attractions had little to no wait times all weekend.
This was mind-boggling to me because we had been joking about, oh my gosh, you don't want, do not go, it's going to be awful. I'm surprised that so many people actually stayed away. I really thought a lot of people were going to still go. I thought they were going to have a lot of issues with people thinking that they could go into the land even if they didn't have the reservation. There'd be a lot of confusion with the reservation, but it was a ghost town. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I think all of the crowds were in the new land and not in the park.
So I was weird and checking my Disney app and looking at wait times sporadically throughout the weekend. Most of the attractions that we call the ones that they eat the people up. So Pirates, Haunted Mansion, the kind of Omni-mover
It's a small
type.
world.
Yep, it's a small world. Those types of attractions, you basically could walk on them all weekend. I want to say the longest wait times that I personally saw for things like Space Mountain, which right now is actually Hyperspace Mountain, which always has long wait times. And even Radiator Springs, I think those were the two longest wait times I saw, and it was only 40 or 45 minutes.
Which is not much.
That's nothing for those attractions.
Well, on a weekend.
Yeah. Mid-Saturday, 40, 45 minutes. That's
we
crazy.
do want to emphasize that cast member access is blocked out right now. A lot of annual pass holders are blocked out. Of course, for Galaxy's Edge, you need a reservation. Yeah. So I think the real test will come at the end of the month.
I'm a little worried about that now.
Yeah. Well,
when everybody's allowed it, when everybody's passes are unblocked and all that.
I think that this has just shown that Disney knows what they're doing and they planned really well.
I almost think they maybe perhaps planned a little bit too well.
Maybe.
Because they could have obviously been entertaining so many more guests in the park outside of Galaxy's Edge. Oh, that was the other thing too. The Incredicoaster, the couple times that I pulled that up, 5 to 10 minute wait for the Incredicoaster. I couldn't believe it.
I wish we were there.
I do too. It was making me wish I had my teleporter.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Just crawl in the DL Weekly teleporter.
exactly. One of the slower moving projects at the park has been putting the finishing touches on Alien Pizza Planet in Tomorrowland, which replaced Red Rocket's Pizza Port. The sign outside has been going up very slowly and in multiple stages over the last couple of weeks. As of recording this episode, it still hasn't been completely installed. However, the name is now on the side of the building.
Yeah.
It looks like, rumor has it looks like they might be, there's some sort of base that's empty, and people are thinking that they're probably going to put some sort of like alien up on it, but it does now say Alien Pizza Planet on the side.
All I know is, so we talked about this when the stuff started coming down around Sleeping Beauty Castle. They showed they showed the rocket ship that said Pizza Planet on it,
which looks great.
And then they took it down around the like actual building, but it still did not say what it was, but you could see there was mounts for it. And then Pizza Planet was up, and then the alien part finally just showed up a couple days ago, and now there's like a swooshy thing that's started like half up. So I'm like, man, can't like just put a crew on it, put the whole sign up. Like, this is ridiculous.
They've been way too busy doing things over in Galaxy's Edge that they just are that limited.
I guess, but they should be done with that stuff
Probably
by now.
One poor cast member that's trying his darndest or her darndest to get it all put together.
I need a spotter for the lift, and there's nobody available.
Yeah.
The fountain that was constructed next to Jesse's Critter Carousel has come out from behind construction walls to show off new porcelain tiles that will be less likely to discolor or rust.
Yeah, so you guys, this is the Incredibles logo water fountain. So if you guys follow certain online news things, they've been showing photos of this. It looked great when the pier first opened.
Right.
But very quickly it kind of started looking awful because it was rusting and it was staining like the wall. It's beautiful. But it must have been really hard to keep up. And so thankfully they fixed it. They just took all of the stonework out and replaced it. So hopefully it will be good from now on, because it is a really nice feature.
Well, I think the porcelain tiles look really nice. I did like the kind of metallic look that they had previously, but if it's going to keep looking not very good, because, water ruins everything.
Well, and it's something about, specifically I read, it was something about the water that they use in Disneyland. They use something, don't quote me on this. I feel like it was like heavy with bromide or something like that, because they have so much water everywhere. So I think that was also causing the staining. That might not be the correct chemical.
That's all right.
But it sounds familiar.
But they do something that makes it stain worse than just regular water. Gotcha.
It wasn't just like it was tap water.
Well, we'll see how long it takes and see how that all works.
Well, after a long refurbishment, the silly Symphony Swings have returned. Nothing new to report here, just freshly painted and ready for guests. It looks like it's brand new again.
Yeah. This is one of those attractions that you'd like, I don't know, in my mind, I feel like it's fairly simple and shouldn't need a lot of refurbishment, but when they do refurbish it, they have to like tear it all the way down.
It's a major
and they
project.
ship it off. So I'm glad that they're keeping it up. It does look really nice. Of course, soon is going to be the Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind that's right across the way. So they've been testing that with water people in them, like the water dummies.
Oh, they have?
Yeah. So we're looking for that. So that'll be kind of cool. Well, a project that I am very excited about for some strange reason.
He's not joking.
Is the Pixar Pals
parking ramp.
It's the Pixar Pals parking garage. The garage is racing towards completion and is rumored to be opening by the end of the month, when general admission is allowed into Galaxy's Edge. I personally am excited to see how the new tram and security areas are configured with the new structure. I have been watching Fresh Baked construction things, and they've been doing video of this. I've been watching, there's some other news sources that we use that like has pictures of these things. Teresa almost gave me a heart attack today because she thought that the tram loading area was already, like, there was a picture of it, and I said, no, that was the old loading area, but like I thought that they had finally shown something. So I'm really excited to see how it all comes together. Teresa thinks I'm nuts, but we will be over there to look at it in person when we are there.
We will be, and I'm a
she gets to ride the tram.
About how much time somebody's going to want to spend over at this parking garage.
Not very long. I just want to go over there, look around, come back. So probably 20 minutes most. You just don't understand my fascination with the parking ramp or the trams.
Don't. I am excited to go see it. I really like the different level names for the Pixar Pals.
Well, Laura in our chat, she will walk over and ride the trams with me if you don't want to, because I know she enjoys it as much as I do. Oh, Doug is right. You need photo pass for the garage tag. Yep, I need me with the garage.
Oh dear Lord! I just like had this series.
Can we pretend
of like senior photo type poses in front of Tang in front of the garage?
Me like on the ground
with the tram.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you guys couldn't see our whole little leg actions.
That's okay. They don't need
stuff.
it. They don't need it.
You know, like how they like the seniors pose with their cars.
Okay.
They, like lay on the hood.
If we get up to 90 supporters before we go, I will put on Patreon a senior photo shoot in front of the parking garage.
How are you going to get to take the pictures? I'm going to be on the ground laughing.
James will take pictures.
I will do this.
I'm going to be on the ground.
I will absolutely do this.
I will find a PhotoPass photographer and I will be like, will you please come take these pictures?
Can you please make my dream come true?
Yeah. I'll go find a plaid and be like, you really need to do this for me.
Oh my gosh. You just never know what you're going to get into when you tune into these streams with us.
Right.
Well, moving on. With the Get Your Ears On celebration ending soon, the banners in the Esplanade have been updated. The new banners include all sorts of different attractions, including newcomers to the resort like Galaxy's Edge.
These banners look really nice.
I like this style a lot. It reminds me of the same images that they have on the reusable bags.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
definitely.
like it a lot. It's classy.
It is classy. I'm very excited to see them in person, and I like that they swap them out frequently, so it's not the same banners kind of up.
Agreed.
So, I'm also excited, and this kind of gets back to the parking garage. But in the tram loading area, they have those 3 like poster sections, and they updated that to be Galaxy's Edge. And I don't know why, but I have pictures of when we went to Halloween time. They had Halloween time graphics there, so that's what I like. So, all right, folks.
Okay.
Buckle in. We are going to head into our Galaxy's Edge news block now. On Wednesday night, we hosted a live stream of the dedication ceremony for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. If you'd like to catch up on that, you can see it on our YouTube channel at DLWeekly. During the dedication, Bob Iger was joined on stage by George Lucas, Mark Hamill, Billy D. Williams, and Harrison Ford. So just in case people don't know, George Lucas is the director and the original creator of Star Wars. Mark Hamill played Luke Skywalker. Billy D. Williams was Lando Calrissian.
The original.
The original. And Harrison Ford, of course, was the original Han Solo. It was a pretty short dedication ceremony, but had plenty of heart, with a shout out to Peter Mayhew, who played Chewbacca, who recently passed away. The only downside of this whole thing for me was the guy who had his finger on the trigger for the special effects. When Harrison Ford was supposed to make the Falcon work, the guy like hit it too early.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the only thing that got weird. But it was really touching, I thought.
It was too. The whole thing was, it was more, I don't know what I was expecting, but it was more than I had expected. I expected, yes, a couple of familiar Star Wars faces to be there. I kind of expected George Lucas and Mark Hamill to be there, but I fangirled when Harrison Ford came out.
Yeah.
For some reason, I wasn't expecting for him to be there. And then the fact that they did that little kind of play with the Falcon, and the fact that Chewie was actually in the cockpit of the Falcon that is
trying to start it.
Yep, out, the big one that we've seen so many pictures of, that you can actually get into the cockpit. I thought that was really, really cool. So I thought it was well done. They had fireworks that were going off right behind the Falcon, and it was beautiful.
Do you know what it made me do?
Very,
it
very
really,
well.
really made me want for them to do a Galaxy's Edge fireworks show with that as a backdrop.
I agree.
But I don't think that'll be coming for a while because of how popular it is. I mean, can you imagine more people packing in there?
So what I've understood, obviously we have not been there ourselves, but what I understand is you can see, that's how you see the normal nightly fireworks, is you see them going off right there, because the launch pad area or whatever, this is my pyrotechnic move.
Sure.
The launch pad is kind of right behind where Galaxy's Edge is.
Right.
So every night you will always be able to see them.
I will say one thing I'm very happy about is that they don't need to close anything in Galaxy's Edge to do the fireworks. But I did read online somewhere this week that one of the things that they watch really carefully with is if there's wind or anything, then they cancel the stuff.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm glad that they don't do, because like Toontown, they had to close Toontown a lot because of that. So I'm glad that they don't have to close. I think it would be suicide to close Galaxy's Edge.
Especially in the beginning. Unfortunately, they probably would just have to switch over and only do projections.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, right now their show primarily is projections.
That's
They
true.
only do the the fireworks on the weekend, so I guess that wouldn't, yeah. Anyways, so Tag's excited about the parking ramp. I'm really excited about this next story. New park maps featuring Galaxy's Edge are now at the resort. I think the map looks beautiful. The cover is actually textured and has a really nice metallic lettering on it. There's also a new food and merchant guide for Galaxy's Edge. This guide not only tells you where you can stop for some grub, but also tells you all sorts of details about what you can find and what you can experience in the new land. It looks awesome. I cannot wait to get my hands on a copy of this and I want to save it forever. I don't know why. It just looks really awesome. I always love getting a park map and keeping a park map from each trip, and I'm extra excited because this one is so different from the ones I have.
It's like
now.
a free souvenir.
Yeah.
The question, though, and I don't think it's anytime soon, but down the road, you may not get.
We're not talking about
guide
that.
maps.
They will be there.
I'm just saying.
Honestly, it's very hard for me to believe that someday in the near future, paper park maps.
No,
will be a
I
thing
don't
of the
think it'll be in
past.
the near future.
It'll be quite a ways out.
It might turn into a situation where you have to go to City Hall and specifically ask for one, where they don't just have them readily available. But I think in the foreseeable future, at least for the next 10 years, you're going to still be able to grab a map for sure. But the other thing that I think a lot of people don't even think about when they do these, when new lands or attractions and things are added, there's signage all over the place that has to be updated. So there's the Braille map on Main Street that had to be updated. There's obviously the guide maps, which is pretty easy to update, but just the whole park has been reconfigured for this new land, so it looks different. Even if you were to just do a silhouette, the shape of the park is different. It is
interesting because looking at the guide map, I never realized that the land itself was kind of lopsided looking. But now it's actually nice and rounded out at the top. Take Galaxy's Edge off that block there, and it's kind of it just fits perfectly in with the rest of the style of the map.
Yeah. Actually,
I can't picture it not being there now.
Well, because before it was rounded, before they did the changes to the Rivers of America.
I've got to look at my most recent map and see what that corner looked like before. Do they just was it filled in just with trees?
I think it was just trees.
Must have been.
Yeah. Well, along with the new headliner attraction, Galaxy's Edge included a bunch of new highly themed shops. At Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities, guests can find Jedi and Sith relics and holocrons. The Toydarian Toy Maker sells artisan-style plush characters, wood, and tin toys. Over at Bina's, you can adopt different creatures like porgs, tauntauns, and wampas. Jewels of Bith is like a typical Disney shop that sells lanyards, pins, keychains, etc., all themed to Blackspire Outpost. Over at the Blackspire Outfitters, you can find Star Wars-inspired outfits. And finally, the Resistance Supply and the First Order Cargo sells goods such as caps and pins themed to their cause.
So many shopping choices, and we didn't even cover the big ones yet. We're going to talk about that later in our discussion topic.
Mm-hmm.
So many things. I still think the thing that I am really impressed with the... Of course, I mean, obviously there's always going to be shops, right? They always theme them to whatever the land is. But the fact that these are so immersive and so themed, the toy maker, all of the plushes and the toys, it looks like they're they look handmade. It's not that fuzzy plush thing that you could get at a big box store or something.
Right.
Everything that you're going to buy in this land is very specific to this land. I think that's great. Bina's, I'm really excited to go over there, and I don't think I'll adopt one, but I'm very excited to go check them all out because all of the creatures are animated, so they all do something. They either make noises or they wiggle or whatever. So that'll be very cool.
I do like the thing that I don't. James, do you remember what's the name of that little monkey thing?
Oh, the thing that
The Salacious Bee Crumb?
Well, that's the character's name, but that's not what that type of animal is. It's some type of monkey.
I'd have to think.
Okay, well, the Salacious Bee Crumb thing that was in Return of the Jedi that was hanging out with Jabba, they have a thing that it sits on your shoulder and you can control it. I think that's cool. I don't necessarily want one. I just think that they're neat.
They're very cool. Yeah.
Because I would never use it when I'm not in Galaxy's Edge.
He's a Kowakian monkey lizard.
A Kowakian monkey lizard.
I love it.
I just remember from Return of the Jedi where they go, it was always laughing.
It's a great laugh.
Yeah, so...
Well, we think Disney did an amazing job preparing for the opening weekend of Galaxy's Edge. They spent years planning every detail, and it really paid off. Disney was very clear and tried to avoid confusion about the Disney was very clear and tried to avoid confusion about the required reservation system. This weekend, they had even placed signs at all of the entrances to the resort reminding guests that they would not be able to enter the new land if they did not already have a reservation. Parking opened as early as midnight. At 5 a.m., guests with 8 a.m. reservation times and those wanting to purchase opening day merch were allowed to enter the parks. They were all held in the hub until 6 a.m. when they were directed to go towards the launch bay. A temporary shop with the opening day merch was set up at the top level of the launch bay, and those with reservations were directed to go to the bottom floor. So then they kind of had a check-in system, and everybody said it went super, super smooth. It looked like the line was going to take forever and ever and ever, but it only took like 10 minutes.
Well, and that's the important thing, right? Is not only did it go smooth, but it went fast.
Yeah.
Because people hate lines. So looking at the people that experienced this said, looking at the line, it looked awful. Like they thought they were going to be waiting hours. But literally they said they got through the entire thing in like 10 minutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then they were directed over to a specific entrance to the land. And I mean, everything was just so well choreographed and just perfect. The only complaints, which I mean, it was bound to happen. Of course, there are going to be bumps in the road. There were complaints that Olga's, Savi's, and the attraction, as soon as they let the people in for each reservation time, it was like an instant gridlock and backup because everyone kind of flocked to those three things right away.
Yeah.
So there were like 2-hour waits just to get into the cantina, a 2-hour wait to get to Savi's to build your own lightsaber. So even though you did have this nice 4-hour window, and even though I was watching the Disney the Disney app and watching wait times, the longest I saw for not Rise of the Resistance, for Smuggler's Run was 90 minutes, which honestly for opening weekend, that's crazy. That is crazy short because I'm not a Disney World person, but I feel like when they opened Pandora, the World of Avatar, it was like 4+ hours to be able to get onto that
But
attraction.
I think they learned from that. And they decided, so we'll get into this in the discussion topic, but there were people from Disney World there at Galaxy's Edge to figure out what was working, what wasn't, so when it comes to Disney World time, they know how to handle it. Because then they'll be veterans at that point.
Honest to God, though, I think they did a wonderful job.
No,
they did a really great job.
I don't think that they could have done any better than they did.
Yeah,
I think it was amazing.
The things that were bumps, I don't know how they would have been able to fix those.
No. I did see one thing that really made me upset, and it made some people online upset, where I saw it on Twitter, and there was people in the park, and you're going to get this everywhere, but there were people in the park who went and got opening day merchandise, and they were literally, they didn't even leave the park. They had their iPads and everything out, and they were taking pictures and putting it on eBay in the park.
Wow. That's gutsy.
And I will also say how mad I am that people during the preview were taking menus and putting them on eBay. And one of the things too that they've done with the restaurant with Oga's is, with Docky Bay 7 is they had the cutlery. They can't leave it out anymore because people were taking them and keeping them.
Oh boy.
And so now they said that during some times of the day, you get a plastic fork because people just keep taking them. So people, if you want to keep good things and you want to keep it nice, this is why we can't have nice things. You need to respect it. Don't be taking stuff. If you want one, buy one,
not
whatever.
An infinite supply. I never thought about the cutlery though, but I saw the very cool, unique, I guess, spork-looking things in like the
they're not plastic
press
either.
Photos, I guess.
Yeah, they're not plastic
So
either.
I could see why people would want to take those because they were really cool. But unfortunately, it's like a regular. I mean, it's very cool looking, but it's like a regular fork. If you take it, then somebody else doesn't get a fork. So, maybe they should sell those. They like selling straws. They like selling popcorn buckets.
Right.
Let's sell some Star Wars Edge cutlery.
Yeah, but then the problem is then like it's so nice that you kind of like get it as part of the theming, and I don't know. It just frustrates me that people can't let something be cool. That the Imagineers and operations were like, okay, we're gonna do this, and it's turned into this mess because people are.
You know what?
Selfish.
I don't know what I find more surprising: the fact that people were taking menus and putting them up on eBay, or the fact that there are people out there willing to spend lots of money.
That's true.
On the menus.
That is true as well. Galaxy's Edge merchandise has also taken over Star Traders in Tomorrowland. Guests are able to get some of the more common merchandise, as well as a variety of opening day merchandise for the new land there. So you don't have to go into Galaxy's Edge if you don't have a reservation, but you want to get something, you happen to be there. Star Traders. And then I also heard that there's some limited stuff Also at the World of Disney store, in the Emporium, some stuff over in California Adventure as well. So not everything.
It's kind of sprinkled
and not the
throughout,
unique stuff, but the generic Galaxy's Edgy kind of stuff.
Yep. Well, there has been some confusion with guests when it comes to piloting the Millennium Falcon. The Orange County Register has posted a helpful how-to guide on what each position in the cockpit should be doing and where the buttons are to be pressed. It's a great resource to study up on before you go. I need to study this. Okay, it's a great resource to study up on. I know I'm going to read it before we go to be successful on the new attraction.
So I was thinking people had I'd seen lots of posts about like, here's what Smuggler's Run is like, and here's what you need to do. And like, I went and read and I was like, okay, so you got to press the buttons, you got to listen, blah, blah, blah. So this Orange County Register article is amazing because they had somebody draw the cockpit and they labeled where everybody sits. And then each of the sections, engineers, that kind of thing, they point out like, this is the repair panel, this is the harpoon, this is for the engineer on the left, for the gunner on the left. Here's the automatic button, the manual buttons, how the torpedo and everything works. So it's nice because you don't know a lot of what it looks like when you're there. And then if you want to enjoy the actual attraction itself, you don't want to be focusing on mashing a button and you're not seeing what's happening.
Or trying to find where the button is.
Yeah. So if you study this beforehand, you'll kind of know where things are at. And when you get there, maybe you can pay a little bit more attention and enjoy the experience a little bit more. Well, with the popcorn stand in Galaxy's Edge, of course, there'll be a new popcorn bucket. The MSE6 series Repair Droid popcorn bucket is available at Kat Sokka's Kettle. It costs $19.99 and includes the first fill of popcorn. So this, the MSE6 series Repair Droid,
it's a mouse, isn't it?
People basically know it as a mouse droid. It's the little thing that in the originals were like, and like rolling around on the ground. So that's what it is. I think it looks cool. I like popcorn buckets.
It's an interesting popcorn bucket, though, because it's not like the other ones where you open the thing up and dump your popcorn in it, and then you have a little door that closes to keep your popcorn in there nice and fresh. You actually just like it's like a popcorn bag holder, I guess would be how I describe it.
Right.
You kind of set your popcorn bag in its back, I guess.
Sure. Yep, like a little cargo thing.
This is so not really on topic, but kind of, I'm very curious about this popcorn. It just sounds like a really unique mix, and I just want to try it.
Well, over in Tokyo, that's like a huge thing over there is the different flavors of popcorn. So I have a feeling that this might be bringing some stuff from over there.
Probably.
Yeah, so you know how we have like 1,000 flavors of churro? That's what they're like with popcorn.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why, but it is. Well, now it's time to take a trip to Trivia Land, where producer James tries to stump us with Disney trivia. He'll read us the question, we'll attempt to answer it, and James will give us the correct answers after the discussion topic. So what do you got for us this week, James? Anything Star Wars Galaxy's Edge themed?
I hope not.
No, I decided to stay away from it knowing that you had plenty of news. Maybe next week I'll bring some in.
Okay.
Oh.
But I will tell you, I am very excited for this last question I gave you. Any listeners out there, you may want to grab a pen and paper because it becomes a bit of a lengthy answer. But I've been saving it for a live stream episode.
No.
Hopefully you can get some help.
I'm nervous.
You should be.
Wow, he's not even like masking the fact that he's going to be terrible to this week.
You got it. But our first question this week and our first three come from listeners, so you can blame them. From Daniel. Daniel asks, what is the name of the TV show where mouse ear hats first appeared? Bonus points if you give me the song.
The Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah. I do not. MICKEYMOUSE.
And it's the name of the song?
I don't care about the name of the song. I just wanted you to sing it.
Oh. MICKEYMOUSE. Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. Yeah.
The Mouseketeers.
All right, our second question comes from Barbara B. And Barbara is asking, where was the trial run of the Remember Dreams Come True fireworks held before they came to the park?
Ooh.
This was a thing? I feel like with this show, I should know this.
You should.
I know that Steve Davison, who came up with this, he performed it, which I love this video. I think I've talked about it on the show before. And it makes me excited because I was like, if I was Steve Davidson, I would do it. People like my enthusiasm.
I'm going to say this is really random, but for some reason I think it's Arizona. I don't know where in Arizona, but I think in Arizona.
I'm going to say excuse me, I'm gonna say like the Salt Flats or something because that seems like it would work out. Like in is that in Utah, Nevada?
I'm not going to say
Utah.
because I don't know.
Wait. Well, then that's probably not the answer then. And where did you say?
I
Arizona?
said Arizona.
Okay. All right.
All right, next question comes from listener Katie J. Bear with me, it's a bit of a longer one.
Oh boy.
For those unable to navigate the narrow steps down into the submarine for the Finding Nemo submarine voyage, you can proceed to the observation outpost at the end of the dock. Manned by a member of the Nemo Institute, this facility offers a high-definition live feed version of the voyage via onboard subcam. Nemo is an acronym. What does it stand for?
Ooh.
Hmm.
Something, 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 ocean. Something.
Or observatory.
Oh, dang it.
Well, like, is it fairly obvious and we're just idiots?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it makes so much sense once you hear it.
National Experiment. Natural.
Natural environment.
M. Man-made observatory.
Sure. I will take that.
Man-made observatory.
All right. Get to the one you're excited about.
Bonus points for creativity, right?
Get to the one that you're
I don't know if
excited
that's how
about.
trivia question works. Name the Jungle Cruise ships. I will also accept holiday overlay names.
dear
Oh,
Lord.
well, there's
I don't know.
There's the African Queen, I think is one of them.
Bertha. I'm making up my own.
How many are there?
A lot.
1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And how are you scoring this?
Oh, Barbara.
12
yes,
points.
Let
sure.
us know.
Yes, in Disneyland, Barbara.
African Queen is one of them.
Denial. I'm awful. I'm gonna be really honest. I don't pay attention to that part. I know they tell me.
This is like one of my favorite attractions, too.
Did you know all the names?
No.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. How long are we going to torture ourselves not
I'm
knowing the
waiting
answers?
for Barbara to answer this.
Barb, you're supposed to help us out
She's
since
probably
you
typing them all. There's 12.
since you got us stuck with question 2.
Yeah.
Oh, Irrawaddy Irma. That sounds right.
Maybe Bertha wasn't so far off. There's an Irma. Backwater Betty. Ooh, Amazon Annie. Maybe Backwater Betty's a thing. Amazon Annie. That's good. Nellie Nile.
What?
You are definitely on the right track with using river names.
Oh,
There
man.
is your hint.
Are they all female?
Oh, the Congo Queen. That's probably the one
Oh,
I'm
the
thinking of.
Congo Queen. That's a good one.
The Congo Queen.
I bet there's an African Queen too.
That's yeah. Trying to think of the Nile.
I think they are all female names.
Okay. Natalie Nile.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna sit here guessing names all night because we have a discussion topic to get to.
Mississippi. Madison, Mississippi. Maddie, Mississippi.
There is a Mississippi one, I think. All right, well, I'm calling it.
Well, you're going to learn this week all the
So that's
boat
like 12,
names.
right? We said like 12.
Jesus. Okay, so our discussion topic this week is about just basically Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, what we've seen, what our opinions are on it. I have a lot of
opinions.
I have a lot. I do want to share this story.
Hang on, pause. Before you share this story, we do want to let you guys know
Spoilers.
if you are wanting to go into the land and not have any idea what some of these, we're going to talk specifically about Savis, which is where you build your own lightsaber, the Droid Depot, which is where you build your droid, and then also Oga's, the cantina. So if you guys, and also I think we'll talk a little bit about the experience of Smuggler's Run. So if you guys want to go into these places, yes, obviously we all
Unspoiled.
know that they exist, but if you don't want to know what's going to happen when you walk in these doors and you want to be surprised, please turn the podcast off now. Not that I'm kicking you out, but I just want to let you guys know we are going to go into detail about what is going to happen in the lightsaber ceremony, what's going to happen, how you build your droid, that kind of stuff. So we are going to go into detail as to what these experiences are like. So if you do not want this to be spoiled, please hit pause now.
Right. Or skip ahead or something.
Yep, or skip ahead to the trivia.
Okay, so I want to share the most moving thing to me. So I have been excited since they announced lightsaber building, and I wish producer James had not walked off to get a snack or whatever he just did, because I think he could attest to this.
You're going to be talking for a while, let's be honest.
So he's gonna attest to this, but like, I don't get emotional about a lot of things, and Teresa can attest to this. Like, I'm the worst person when it comes to like, I am not very good. However, I watched a video yesterday that Blog Mickey had about the experience of creating the lightsaber and what the show that kind of goes along with that for building a lightsaber. And I will explain. I'll get to that point. So basically, you go in. You can bring one person with you. So the person who's building the lightsaber, and you can bring one guest. And you go in and you get kind of a little section. Mm-hmm. And you, on the outside, before you even get in, you pick the type of design
that is the
stuff you
coolest
want.
thing to me. So first off, it's a very discreet building.
Oh, yeah.
You could walk past it and not quite realize that you've walked past this. Because there's not like a big neon sign overhead that lets you know where you're going. There's just
it's supposed to be hidden from the
it's supposed to be. It's all in theming, but there's just this tattered blue banner that's near the door that has a big symbol that looks very similar to the Jedi Order symbol. So I think that's really cool in theming. But in the waiting area, because they knew that it's like a 20-minute experience, so they're going to have like this kind of waiting queue area. They have all these hidden places that you can like pull out and look and see different parts of the lightsaber.
Yep. And so you pick a design you want. So we've talked about this on a previous episode where we talked about that there's the different elements kind of things that you can pick. Yeah,
there's one that looks really like, there's a lot of traditional looking ones. Yeah. But then there's also one that looks very natural. Yeah. And like wooden or like a tooth.
There's like a tooth as part of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically you pick the kind of style you want your saber handle, the hilt, to look like. So when you go in, you go in with your guest or whatever, and you're around this like oblong table, and you kind of get told a story of like who Jedi were and what Savi's is all about and how they have all this stuff there, and it's super cool. Then she explains in the video I watched, it was a female cast member, and she kind of tells the story of what kind of goes into creating a lightsaber. So she pulls out the kyber crystals, and the kyber crystals, for those of you who may not know, are what powers a lightsaber. And so what happens is she pulls out, she wants to show they have 4 different colors in there. You can get other colors at Doc Ondar's, but there's 4 colors in that you can get through Savi's workshop to build a lightsaber. The 4 colors you can get are blue, green, red, or purple. And I think it was like indigo or violet, she said. But basically, you go in, and she picks up each color of the kyber crystal, and as she picks it up, the roof like changes. It's like it's like almost like the room comes alive.
It's a very interactive show.
Yeah,
I guess would be good.
Very cool. So they go through the whole process. They give you a tray of parts, and basically each of the parts of the lightsaber, you get 2 options of that design kind of choice. So like with the saber tooth thing, or the thing that looks like a tooth, you can get the tooth thing or something else that's kind of similar to that. So basically you get options. So you build the lightsaber, you put the kyber crystal in it, you put all the parts together, and then you set the lightsaber down, and they ask you to step away. So everybody steps away from the counter. This is the part where I was not expecting the emotion that I felt here. And so what they do is they have the Savi's workshop workers come around, and they take your lightsaber hilt and they put it into the end of this kind of like trough. And in real life, they're attaching the blade part that lights up that you get as part of this whole process. So they attach it, and then they tell you to step forward and to grab your lightsaber, and then they tell you to, everybody kind of ignites it at the same time. And what's so moving here is the room gets kind of dark, and I don't know what it is about it, but all of them light up about the same time, and the kind of covering opens up, and you can lift your lightsaber up, and just seeing an entire room, which is probably 20 people, all lifting and having this experience. Like, it was just very moving. And so I think that if I was on the fence before about getting a lightsaber, which I wasn't, I would go see this. And if you don't want one, I would find someone that you could go in with just to watch the experience. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, I think it's worth it. It's very similar. Last night, I talked with our friends over at ConciEARS. They were on Mouse Kingdoms, and we were talking about this. And he was saying that, it's very much like the wand ceremony in Harry Potter.
This is like
in the Wizarding world. But the difference is when you go into Ollivanders, they pick one kid out of the group, and they have this experience. This way, almost everybody gets the experience of building the thing and getting chosen and being part of this whole process. So I cannot talk highly enough about this. I am so excited. I want to go into this multiple times. Like, not to build, but I just want to watch it and just take it in.
So I don't think when we first were learning about this and before anybody had experienced it, I too was saying that it was going to be a lot like the experience over at Ollivanders, but now learning no, I don't think it's anything like the experience at Ollivanders. I think Ollivanders, you can go in there and every single time it's going to be, you get it you choose this many things and you could time your watch to it, to a certain point. I feel like this is a much more much more immersive than what Ollivanders is. Ollivanders kind of like a show, and they just kind of like pick a volunteer. It's like a magic show, and let's pick a volunteer kind of feel versus what this is. They take the kyber crystals they're in. Which the kyber crystals, they're probably just plastic really in real life, but let's be real. But it's so immersive that they really don't want you touching the kyber crystals with your hand because they're too unstable for you to handle, and they have these very special metal canisters that the crystals are in, and they have all sorts of different shapes. And even though they're yes, there's greens and there's purples, they're all very, very unique. Whereas I feel with Universal Ollivanders, it's not this specific and this unique. The fact that you can customize your lightsaber, even the fact that you're choosing, yes, I want a Sith, or yes, I want this natural one that has the tooth, or yes, I want the whatever one. There's still multiple pieces that you can pick and choose from with that too. So even though you and I might go in and pick the same, what did you call it?
Hilt.
I wanted to say Holt. I'm like, that's not right. Even if you choose the same hilt design, we may not come out with the exact same piece. That's what I think is so cool about this.
I also want to mention, because I think this is really important, in Salvi's workshop, you only get the choice of the 4 colors, like I said. At Doc Ondar's, there's kind of a hidden thing that I've seen online now that you really have to look for. So in Doc Ondar's, you can purchase white, and then in some of the red ones that you can purchase at Doc Ondar, there is a black kyber crystal, and it is very rare. So whatever color your kyber crystal is what color your blade is. I'm interested to see what the black one...
It makes different sounds based on your crystal too, which is very neat.
So I think that Disney did a great job with this experience, and I think even though $200 sounds very expensive for what some people might consider just a toy lightsaber.
Well, and it's not even a toy because...
Well, the quality is amazing, and I think the experience is worth a lot of that price.
The hilt is made of plastic and metal, so it is a more hefty, more substantial
they're
feeling.
heavier,
more substantial feeling. You do also get a case for your lightsaber as well. It starts at $200 to go to do this experience. So you get one hilt, so that's the part that the lightsaber at the
pieces all connect
to. The pieces. Yeah, there you go. One hilt, 4 sleeves, 2 emitters, 2 pommel caps, and 2 sets of activation plates and switches, as well as a kyber crystal. So I think that's very cool. And if you want to switch out your kyber crystals, or if maybe the price tag on building your own lightsaber is a little bit too steep for you, but you still want, to take something home with you that's kind of a more special piece of Galaxy's Edge, I do see that the kyber crystals run about $13 each. So that's a pretty nice price point, even if you just want a crystal, or if you want to get multiple crystals for your lightsaber.
And another important thing to know is if you end up buying other lightsabers or whatever, or different kyber crystals, you do not need to buy a new blade. The blade is universal. The kyber crystal, and the way it works is it tells the blade what color to be and all that. So that's another thing to be aware of. If you do just want a lightsaber and you don't worry about building your own, you don't want to wait in the line, Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities has the Legends ones, which basically you get Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, Yoda's. You can
Darth
get
Vader.
Darth Maul, which is actually two of them that clip together.
Yeah.
So you can get all those things there. So there's lots of options. I will say we're going to move on now to the Droid Depot. And
This is cool.
I was as excited for this as I was for the lightsaber building, because I was like, oh, this will be cool. However, I do not think that the droids are as good a quality as the lightsabers. I feel like I've seen a lot of stuff online about once you get the droids out, and if you're having them roll around, parts of them will like pop off and not stay together. So that's been my disappointment.
Depends on how you built them too. Who knows?
Perhaps.
But the Droid Depot is a little bit different. It's not as
structured.
It's not it's not as much pomp and circumstance, I guess.
Yeah.
As the lightsaber building is. But the droids are very cool. So they come in two different styles. There's an R2 or a BB unit. So those of you not super familiar with that, if you know what R2D2 looks like, there's that is the R2 style, then BB-8, that is the BB style. So you've got kind of the cylindrical ones or the ones that look like a sphere that you can build together. Mm-hmm. So you can actually, it's very cool. There are all sorts of droids on display, and you can actually interact with some of them. The droids that you build yourself are about the size of like a coffee machine is what they've said. But they are remote controlled and can interact with various elements around the outpost, including other droids, which I think is very cool.
Yep.
It looks really interesting. The photos we've seen is there's basically a conveyor belt of parts, and you just get to grab whatever pieces you like and build your droid from there. There are signs kind of on the wall that say, if you're building this style, these are the parts and pieces that you'll need. But all sorts of different colors. There's the traditional, there's one that looks like BB-8, there's one that looks like R2, but then there's also red ones, blue ones. I think I saw purple.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of different things that you can do.
And you get a little carrying box for it too.
Yep. And you don't have to, if you want to make part of it look like BB-8 and part of it not look like BB-8, you don't have to, it doesn't have to match. You can mix and match if you will. So you do whatever you want with it. So not as big of there isn't a ceremony involved with this, which I feel is very fitting for droids. I feel like this is probably very real to how you would actually
There is a segment.
You just find pieces and squish them together.
When you build your droid, there is a segment at the end where you take it kind of up to the counter and they like plug it in and bring it to life.
Yeah.
Like that's the only kind of interactive part. The cool thing about this too is this is also where you can purchase, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure this is where you
Yes, there are pre-built droids available, including, I'm excited about this one, a C-3PO, which speaks.
What?
Yes, which speaks. And also DJ Rex is available too, and he is a Bluetooth speaker.
I saw a review online of the DJ Rex speaker, and I really want one because it moves, but it's it's also a speaker. But Paul Rubens, who does the voice for Rex, who a lot of people know as Pee Wee Herman, he has all these voice things that come with it too. So you hit different buttons and he says different things. I want one of these. I told producer James, I said, we have a Echo Dot in the bathroom upstairs. And I said, I want a DJ Rex for the bathroom. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So it looks like the custom droids at the depot will run about $100. Plus if you decide to do any extra modifications to them. So a little bit better price point than the lightsaber.
Right. Now, moving on, are we talking about Doc Ondars at this point?
So let's talk about Oga's first.
Okay.
We did talk a little bit about Doc's.
Sure.
Oga's, as you guys all know, is actually where DJ Rex works. He is the DJ for Oga's Cantina. So this is I'm going to say it was very controversial when they first announced this because this is the first place outside of Club 33 that will be selling alcohol in Disneyland. They do have strict rules, though. You do have to consume the drink in the cantina. Yep. And I think it's a one or two drink. There's a limit.
So there's a minimum of one and a max of two.
Yeah, a max of two. So nobody's getting silly. I don't think you could afford to get silly because they are a little bit steeper of a price point. If you want one of the fancy mugs, they're even steeper. But a lot of people have been saying that this is honestly one of the highlights of the land, that it was so cool, so fun to be in there. There's a 45-minute time frame that you're allowed to be in there because they're trying to allow as many people as they can to experience the cantina.
In the beginning, on opening, the first 2 days that the land was open, they were just kind of keeping it at capacity and they had a line. Well, the line got crazy out of control, so they implemented a text system where they would let you know like when it came up or whatever, and that was not working out, so they did that for a day. And now they have a thing where they will tell you, and you have, I think, 15 minutes from when you get the text to show up and you can go in. So they're trying to get rid of the lines of people just kind of hanging around.
I think that's a great idea.
What I like about this is I find it amazing that Disney, and Disney's great at this stuff, but I still find it amazing that Disney has found a way to be so agile, because this is the third thing they've tried just in the first weekend it's been open, and they were able to like try things so quickly and iterate.
They had to have had all of these things like, okay, this is plan A, and we got plan B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way probably to Z. They probably have all of this stuff pre-planned. They've had meetings on this stuff, but it looks awesome to us because it looks like they're like, boom, thinking it on their feet and just, we're going to do this now. So, but it's awesome.
The downside that I've heard about Oga's, and I hope this isn't true, and I hope they work it out, and I'm sure it's just because they're stressed out because it's one of the most popular places, is I've heard that the bartenders have been rude sometimes.
Oh, see, and it's hard to say because there's so many people, it's at capacity the entire day for these.
I wish producer Vern was here because he could speak to like how crazy it can be as a bartender.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it's not like there's a line, so they're not helping people, in the order that they came there. So that always causes stress because you're trying to figure out, oh shoot, who's next? I don't want to have anybody feel like they're being forgotten or left behind.
And with the time limit, people want to get their beverage or food, and they want to get it done.
The guests, I'm sure, are very stressed because they've got this time limit. They don't want to spend all 4 hours in the cantina.
Right.
And they've already spent however long possibly waiting in the line. So there have been a little hiccups as far as service goes. But as with any new restaurant, locally, you always expect hiccups with new restaurants.
Right.
I'm surprised that there weren't worse hiccups than what people were complaining about.
I love the theming in this place.
The theming is awesome. The whole cantina is themed. It is mostly standing room. There are a few booths to sit in kind of along the wall.
The bar is the place to be, I've heard.
Yeah, the bar is this big, huge circle, basically. And it kind of wraps around this big, huge contraption in the middle, which is where all of the wonderful drinks come from.
Two things are super cool about the stuff that's in the middle of the bar.
I don't know if it's cool or disgusting.
So the one thing is there's the creature that is in Return of the Jedi that like is by Jabba's palace that like slurps up something. That's where the boba balls come out for the drink.
It's like this frog-looking creature.
Yep.
And he lays these things that are his eggs, which then are part of some of the drink. That's the thing I think is a little disgusting.
So awesome, though.
I'm glad you think that's awesome. I don't think I can drink that.
I
know they're just boba popping pearls, but it's a little too immersive for me.
I'm gonna quiz you here real quick. So
I'm gonna fail.
When you are in line for Indiana Jones,
okay,
and you're in the outdoor queue,
okay,
what's one of the at night? What's one of the really cool thematic things about the attraction, about the queue outside at night? So they've got that generator running, right?
Yeah.
And it as it speeds up, it goes the lights flicker.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So in Oga's, they have power fluctuations, and the bartenders grab mallets and they hit this contraption, and they have to hit it a few times, and then the power comes back.
That's awesome.
So how cool
I did not
is that?
know about that.
That is such a small thing to do that they had to think about. So if you look at the picture you have right there open, that little circle thing there's two panels on the side that they hit with this hammer, and it makes all the lights flicker. And then everybody cheers. The video I saw, everybody cheers when the power comes back on because they've beat this thing to death.
That's really funny.
I'll tell you what. After looking at people's videos and experiences and reading about all this week, I'm super, super excited, more so than I have been the whole time. I will say that I'm so burnt out on reading about it and talking about it because there's been so much this week.
It's a lot, yes.
But I am more excited now than I've ever been to go to this place.
Because now you kind of have a taste of what to expect. The one thing I was very surprised, and I was very happy for those cast members working at the cantina. I was very surprised, but did you notice the photos? So typically when you go to a bar, they have to mix the drinks when you order them. It looks like Oga's, they do have them pre-mixed. So the middle of the bar has got all these like spigot type things that have all the drinks in it. So that I'm sure is helping to speed up service. Oh, yeah. But it's interesting because so there's basically like all these different taps around. But if you look above, there's all these like it's just this kind of haphazard mess of tubing.
It's what you would expect at a cantina.
Yeah, it's like a haphazard mess of tubing. Looks like there's maybe some electrical wire type things that are up there too. But if you pay close attention, that haphazard mess of tubing goes down and feeds each one of the taps. So that's kind of where your drinks are. You're supposed to think your drinks are coming from. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Can you imagine like being an Imagineer and like, okay, we need to come up with a bar and we need to dispense some drinks. So what is that going to look like?
Yeah, that's funny. There are clear tubes full of bubbling alien colored liquids that are meant to look like the drinks that you're going to be
I feel like you're not going to want
getting.
to drink anything in here because you're like, I don't want to.
No, I'm okay with that. It's just the frog thing. A little too realistic to me, for me. But you're also invited to peek inside of different containers that you may find on shelves because you're going to find all sorts of weird things in there, like different creatures and jars, some cages, and you might even find some inside of where they store the drinks. That's a little weird to me too.
I will say that I mean we could talk
it's not real
about this for a long, long time, but I'm gonna say that basically I've heard stuff about the food in the land, and they said that the Ronto wrap at Ronto's Roasters is like the thing to get, and then there's like 3 or 4 items at Docking Bay 7 that are really good. The stuff that's at Oga's is mostly a drink thing.
They do have. What is it called?
I don't know.
The Batu Bites. I really want to try the Batu Bites.
Is that at Oga's?
Yes. It's basically a pub mix type styled thing, but it is so unique looking. It looks like there may be some wasabi peas and maybe like those sesame stick type things in there, but the rest of it, I have no idea what it is. I want to try it so bad, but it's basically like a salty, crunchy snack mix looking thing, but it is so alien looking. I just got to try it. I won't try the frog egg things, but I'll try this.
You won't try the boba things?
No.
Okay.
I will. I like boba pearls, but I do not like them when I think they came from a frog.
Now, we can't talk about food and drink without talking about the blue and green milk. And the general consensus that I've seen online is this is not nearly as good or impactful or a must-do as butterbeer. This was supposed to be Galaxy's Edge's butterbeer.
Butterbeer is hard to top. That's real hard to top.
So what I read today was there was an article talking about how Disney probably has people right now rushing to figure out what's the good flavor that people are gonna like it. Yeah,
I think it sounds delicious. It sounds like it's more of a smoothie texture than like a drink, and they're like light and fruity sounding things to me. I think they sound good.
I've seen 50-50 online. People either love blue milk and hate green, or love green and hate blue, but there's not a lot of people who love both.
Interesting.
So I'm interested to see if I'm a blue or green.
Can you tell me and remind me what the difference in flavors are between the blue and the green?
So blue milk is berry and melon flavored, and the green milk is lemon and citrus flavored.
Interesting. And they're both kind of like a rice milk type.
They're a soft serve frozen like a milkshake and taste a lot like a smoothie.
But I do like that I'm really, really grateful and really, really thankful that it's not actually milk, because true milk on a very hot California day would be terrible. Nobody would buy that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. You'd probably have a lot of sick people.
Yeah. Well, one other thing. So we kind of already talked about this before, but we do need to talk about Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities.
This place has so much stuff. The
highlight of it for me is not what you can actually purchase in the shop, is the amazing animatronic that they have for Doc Ondar.
I saw a video. I've seen lots of videos this week of Doc Ondar. Every video I saw, it's just him like, and like slowly moving. And I'm like, people keep talking about this thing like it's amazing. And I don't see. I saw a video today. He was moving slow, but I watched it to the end. Yeah, I watched it to the end. he like punches something, and then at the end he like swings around like and touches something else. And I was like, I did not expect that.
This animatronic is crazy. So if you haven't already, I highly suggest looking up videos of him. He's a very unique creature. Very unique looking creature. I was a little confused for a while. I didn't understand where his mouth was until it moved.
Oh, it's on the side.
Yeah, his mouth is kind of on the side. It's not in the front of his face. So I was a little confused. But this guy, he's mobile, man. He's darn near walking. I don't think he actually walks. But
No.
Tag's right. He sits, he stands, he turns, he points. I mean, there lots and lots of movement. A lot of technology went into this guy. It's incredible.
Yeah, and like I said, all the videos I saw were like him moving slow until the one I saw today, and I'm like, okay, this is a very good animatronic. So we'll have to see how that works out. But Doc Ondarts has a lot of stuff. Like we talked about earlier, it's got the legacy lightsabers that you can get. It's got a lot of other kind of like
There's
kyber crystals
there's the
and
relics,
holocrons.
the Sith and the Jedi relics are in there too. Oh, that was the other thing too we forgot to mention. I don't know how we forgot this, but you can actually haggle with the Doc Ondar animatronic. I don't know how far he comes down on his prices with you, but there's you can interact with him. I think that's very, very cool.
I feel like one of the things that like I imagine somebody going in and trying to haggle with the cast members.
But he told me I could have it for $10, not $50.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's gonna be
I
interesting.
wonder how that actually plays out.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Now, do we want to talk about Smuggler's Run?
Oh gosh, yeah, we can still talk about Smuggler's
Yeah.
Run, can't we?
So I did not know what the queue was going to look like. I did not know anything except for they had shown part of the inside of the Millennium Falcon where they played the chess in the movie, and then they showed the cockpit, and then they showed like the outside.
The animatronic.
And the animatronic, which you didn't get a lot of before people started putting videos out. You didn't get a lot of context. It was just him standing there.
Yep.
So this is awesome because they said that they were going to pick some cool way to make it go, because when you get in line, the Falcon's outside. How are you going to get in this attraction without going outside? Well, when you get into where Hondo is, there's a little like display on the side that shows like where the Falcon is. And if you pay attention to it as Hondo's talking to you, you could see that the Falcon like lifts off and like flies over, and then in the screen behind him, it like lands in the docking bay that you're going to go get into.
Yeah.
So they got it working from outside in Galaxy's Edge into this docking port.
Well, what isn't the story behind? Because I was kind of, it dawned on me. I'm like, wait a minute, why is the Falcon here? Why is the Falcon here on the the Black Spire outpost? Well, the story behind it is that something was wrong with it. It was broken, and the only person Chewie trusted to fix it
Was Hondo?
is Hondo.
Really?
Yep, because this, I don't remember which, I think this movie, or this is, the time is post episode 8.
Yeah.
So,
But pre-9.
Unfortunately, Han Solo is no longer with us
Right.
in that universe anymore. So Chewie is on his own trying to figure out how to fix the Falcon. And actually, there are porgs that are still like
Nesting inside.
So it's right after episode 8. So that is why the Falcon is there, because everything was very new about the land. We had never,
Except for the Falcon.
People like me that had only seen the movies had never didn't know who Hondo was, didn't know about Doc Ondar, none of that stuff.
Yep.
So it was very confusing to me why the Falcon was there. So that's the backstory as to why it's there.
Now, one thing I thought was cool. So again, immersive theming, great.
Mm-hmm.
To get into the line for Smuggler's Run, they've got these like signs that don't look like the return signs for anywhere else. They're these kind of LED like signs, and they're kind of Arabesh-y looking and whatever.
Sure.
And it really fits with it. And then you go inside, and there's a lot of indoor queue. And what's really nice about it is like you go through and there's like an engine being worked on, and there's a lot of like, things that you would expect at like a shipyard that you're walking through. And it takes you up, and you actually end up walking along those windows that looks at the top of the Falcon. So not only can you walk around at the bottom and get like the view, you get to see the back of the Falcon when you start in the queue, and then you get to see the top of the Falcon when you kind of round and come back.
Very cool.
Very exciting. I'm very excited to ride this attraction. You get in, you get into the actual Falcon area. I've seen lots of different videos depending on how well you do on the Falcon. When you exit, the exit area
Yes,
is
I love that.
working
Pristine
and
or
not
awful?
working. Yeah. So super cool there. I'm excited for this attraction now. Rise of the Resistance. I cannot wait for that one. I am hoping beyond hope that it will open by the time we're there, but I don't think it will. People in our chat have been saying this, and I'm starting to believe them that it's probably not going to be something until November or December.
Yeah.
And producer James actually thinks it'll be good to promote episode 9. 9? 10? 9.
9.
Episode
the end
9.
of the trilogy.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. I'm hoping it'll be open when we're there, but if it's not, that just means we got to make another trip, right?
Well, that's all we have for you this week as far as Galaxy's Edge news
It was a lot.
goes. Yes, it was a lot. So thank you very much for staying with us and listening to it all, because it's been a long time coming. I feel like this has been a very long build up.
We've talked about it for literally a long time.
Pretty much since the beginning of when we started the podcast.
Yep.
So it's very exciting that it is finally here. But for those of you that maybe aren't super interested in Galaxy's Edge news, it is probably the last Galaxy's Edge centered podcast that we will be doing for quite some time.
I hope so.
So we will see, unless maybe more amazing things come out. You never know.
At least for a while. I think the next big news, I think the things we'll report on.
We're gonna shift over to Marvel Land pretty soon here.
That's true, but I want to I want to look into the future, and I think the two things we'll report on is how they change how they do stuff.
Yep.
We'll obviously report when it opens up to the public, because that's going to be a whole different can of worms when they get past the reservation period.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then of course we'll report on when the Rise of the Resistance attraction opens, because obviously that's going to be like a whole new thing.
There's been so much news. There's really not much left to report on.
Yeah. There is also something else that came out this week. I think it was on an interview with one of the people that was responsible for Galaxy's Edge. There are sections of Galaxy's Edge that are empty right now, they're built, that are for future expansion already.
Oh, very cool.
So there's room for more shops. There's rooms for more experiences, that kind of thing. So they said there are doors in the land that don't lead to a current shop, but could be something in the future down the road. So there's definitely more to come. They've talked about more attraction stuff, but we're not thinking that that's going to happen for at least a few years, because we've still got Marvel Land, like you said.
Right, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Mickey
still.
and Minnie's Runaway Railway that's coming. So I think it'll be possibly Tomorrowland. Crossing fingers. So yeah.
Well, if you are going to the park soon and want to be wearing some DL Weekly swag, head on over to dlweekly.net/store to pick some up.
Well, did you enjoy listening to this episode of DL Weekly? Well, you could support the show for as little as 25 cents an episode. If you want access to the supporter chat like we always talk about, it's only 75 cents an episode. Please consider joining supporters like Brittany D and head over to dlweekly.net/support.
Well, now it is time to return to James over in Trivia Land to get the answers to this week's trivia.
Oh, man.
I'm nervous.
We flunked on 4.
Of 4, yep. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I was just so excited to ask it. It had to happen eventually.
I think we got maybe the first one right.
Mickey Mouse Club?
Yeah, that's our only hope.
All right.
We'll find out.
So the question from Daniel is, what is the name of the TV show where Mouse Ear Hats first appeared?
We could be totally wrong, but we went with the Mickey Mouse
Mouse Club.
No, you're totally right. It's the Mickey Mouse Club.
Daniel, thank you for softballing us.
Question 2 from Barbara B. Where was the trial run of the Remember Dreams Come True fireworks show held?
This is a good question.
I want to say that I said the Salt Flats in Utah, and Teresa said Arizona. She is in the chat watching the live stream, and she said wrong continent. Yeah. So what was...
Yeah, you're on the wrong side of the world.
I missed the hint in the chat.
So...
They tried it out in the Gobi Desert in China.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
What an interesting place to, do that.
So none of us mega fans could, sneak to where they were, because...
Sure.
That's a
secret,
much bigger travel plan than just going over to somewhere out west.
Thanks, Barb, for that question and stumping us. Good job.
Very good.
Question 3 from Katie J. For those unable to navigate the narrow steps down into the submarine for the Finding Nemo submarine voyage, you can proceed to the observation outpost at the end of the dock. Manned by a member of the Nemo Institute, this facility offers a high-definition live-feed video version of the voyage onboard subcam. NEMO is an acronym. What does it stand for?
What did you say it stood for, Teresa?
You didn't write it down?
No.
Time to throw out 4 random words.
It was
with the last one
something
being observatory.
environmental.
Yeah.
Was it man-made?
Man-made observatory.
That's the only part I remember.
Yeah, you went 0 for 4 on
Wait
that
a minute.
one.
Wait a minute. Environment was the second word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is
I don't know
it?
You're
the
still
first
0
word
for
was.
4. Nautical, explorer, marine,
Oh, dear
observation.
We got observation.
You said observatory.
Yeah, observatory.
Oh, whatever. Okay.
I even
We were
tried to-
going
Thanks-
way the other
thanks,
direction
Katie,
of that.
for-
Good question, Katie. Thank you.
Yep. You stumped us. That's the point.
Marine. Hello.
Marine.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, you two
Man-made marine.
get to do a lot of learning
Wow.
this week. Final question.
How many of these were there, by the way?
How many ships?
Yeah.
12.
Okay.
Name the Jungle Cruise ships. I will also accept holiday overlay names.
So we said African Queen. Barb gave us Irrawaddy Irma, Amazon Annie. I said the Congo Queen. Teresa said the Backwater Betty and the Mississippi Maggie.
So the only one that is...
We had something with the Nile, too. Didn't we?
I didn't write it down. We
Ye-
might have.
Oh.
I think someone
I
in the
thought I
chat
said
said
something-
like Nellie Nile.
Oh.
Nellie Niles. That sounded right. Anyway, what are
Nellie
they?
Nile? Or did I
So
say Natalie Nile?
Oh, maybe.
Nile.
I still don't think it matters.
you have a lot of the rivers right, but the only one that you
Nile
got both
slash-
right was the Congo Queen.
Yeah.
The
That is
others
the only
are...
one.
Yep. The Congo Queen is also renamed the Congo Caroler or the Candy Queen during Christmas. The others are the Amazon Belle, renamed the Jingle Bell during Christmas. The Ganges Gal, renamed
Oh
the
my.
Ganges Garland or the Gingerbread Gal during Christmas. The Hondo Hattie, renamed the Hondo Holly and the Hanukkah Hattie during Christmas time. The Irrawaddy Woman,
Oh.
renamed Irrawaddy Snow Woman during Christmas. There's the Kissimmee Kate,
Oh, how did we not know that one? Jeez.
renamed the Yule Kissimmee, and then Kissimmee under the mistletoe during Christmas. The Nile Princess, which is the
Oh.
accessible boat, renamed the Nile Nutcracker and then Noel Princess during Christmas. The Orinoco Adventuress, renamed the Orinoco Ornament and then the Navidad Adventuress during Christmas. The Suwannee Lady, renamed the Suwannee Sleigh and then Sugar Plum Lady during Christmas. Oh gosh, I don't know how to pronounce this one. The Ukeali Una, which is also accessible, renamed the Ukeali Eggnog, then Evergreen Una during Christmas. There's the Yangtze Lotus, renamed the Yuletide Lotus during Christmas. And finally, the Zambezi Miss, renamed the Peppermint Miss during Christmas.
Do you know what makes me really sad?
My gosh.
So
We
I
failed
think
miserably.
I think I've told you about this before, but I am really good at knowing. You're gonna judge me so hardcore. I'm really good at knowing from the TV show Star Trek Deep Space Nine. All of their runabouts are river names, and there's the Yangtze Ken and the Orinoco. And
You should
some
have
of those,
known these.
I should have just started going off of those names and just coming up with things, so I'd be at least half a point.
When
I
worlds
still
collide,
think
you could have done well.
They're missing it with Backwater Bertha.
Backwater Bertha.
Gonna have to pitch that one out there.
I think so.
Oh, goodness.
Imagineers, are you listening?
So we got
Backwater Bertha.
2 points the whole game.
You nailed 2 points.
We got
Yeah.
Musketeers. That's all we got.
We got Congo Queen, thank you.
Oh, okay. 1 out of 12.
But that gave us a point because I think he was
Point,
going
yeah,
to.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I was
Right.
gonna give you 12 for sure. It was gonna be a big scoring week, and
It could
Well,
have been.
thank you again to Daniel,
My
Barb,
good
and
questions
Katie.
this week. Thanks, guys.
yeah, what a fun week. Let's make next week another fun week as well. Send me some more trivia. My email is trivia@dlweekly.net.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
So until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Disneyland has now ended its normal operating day. We hope you've enjoyed your visit to the Magic Kingdom and that you'll be back with us again soon.